Desperate chasing death on the racetrack, but death
The lieutenant patiently listens to the words coming from your mouth.
fretting in frustration, he became a recluse, a ghost driver, searching for death in the streets of Rivershore.
Jumping canals at night? If I was Jacob Irv, I wouldn't drive in Martinez. The roads are awful. In conclusion, it's a colorful theory, but I don't believe Jacob Irv did this. Should we go?
We don't really warrant an investigation. It turns out to be him. Richard Priestley. So shall we go? I'm feeling maybe some of this needs.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, the pattern still kind of has an F. The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found.
What? Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me. If we find who owns it, we will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim. In conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge. The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
Look at the
You
jacket.
can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
Jacket bullet, close to 5 millimeter diameter.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzleloader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
A rifle, Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for a well-preserved antique, most likely.
What are you thinking? Bullet? Okay. And? An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Ravachol, really. I have to hand it to the monarchs. It's quite admirable that they took the advice of criminologists last century and the use of breech loaders in peacetime. Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier. But back to the investigation.
Seems we're looking for an antiques enthusiast. Could the victim have been mixed up with some friend? Crossing over. Yes, something mysterious is afoot with this antique.
Mysterious? Okay. Either way, we'll know when we find the gun.
Didn't I flog one to the guy?
Hello again. How can I help you? Sure thing. Sure, man. Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her.
This is a pawn shop. The lieutenant shifts from 1 foot.
Sure, man. Traffic? I'm sorry, officer, but I don't drive.
Didn't you hear it?
Now that I think about it, I do remember hearing a thunderous noise the other night. Some kind of powerful electric vortex hitting the shop.
That sure narrows down our list of suspects.
He shakes his head, slowly.
Did I say that? And there's some antique guns. Cellar room. Just been stored away. I reckon I flogged them. Boo and
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment.
Seems like an old bunker from the Revolutionary period. It means there are firearms, albeit.
I think I sold the murder weapon.
The note is written with a...
Does it say?
This is tangent. Someone has scribbled. S. I can't believe the off-site copy. You find the filament memory. You find the filament memory.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property like... That's a plausible hypothesis. It belongs inside a radio computer. Really? You don't... Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on a filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it. He'd probably try to point... I don't know.
Didn't you see one right next? take the legal documents out of the envelope, a 12 to 40 month construction period, and the zoning plan in the addendum. There is no loophole. The simple truth is the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door. Once the construction starts, it will probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out.
I should have seen it. Everard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone. However, we'll need access to the coast before we do anything. Everard won't believe you got villager signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can try a forgery as soon as we can cross the waterlock.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say. My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite. This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has, turning the crank feels oddly satisfying. You slip your fingers. No, this is going to need something else. Some kind of super. If you want to try again, then you need...
Equip the pry bar by going to the Tools tab in...
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top. Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the D.B.S.B.F fridge, and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby. Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. Yeah. Why? It's a wall.
Why must we stop?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing because you see it. All the other walls on... Oh, wall father.
Huh?
He sounds tired of it all.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I suppose we have to pass by it again at some point.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board. With the... Yes, at last. You find a way to piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. HDB41, date of initialization and time of arrival on the scene, followed by the title. For example, HDB411 20111700. The next world mural. Why, yes, your precinct number is 41. Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB are your initials. Harry Dubois, HDB. No, the alphanumeric begins with HDB. Can't you see the sire is tired of these fabrications? RAC is clearly what it says on the case files. These are official documents. There is no arguing with official documents. That's comforting to hear. Now, detective, it takes half an hour to piece one of these together. If you still want to, here are your options. This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, appears on an 8-story tenement overlooking central Jamrock. The building is a sparsely inhabited ghost tower, part of a failed real estate development called Grand Couronne. Cause of failure, rent too high. The mural is enormous. 2 silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. The text cut into their form reads, "True love is possible only in the next world. For new people, it is too late for us. Wreak havoc on the middle class. People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. In 2 days, the station's complaints desk gets clogged with requests to remove the bummer. You and your partner are assigned to the case. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lectures have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. They take responsibility for the execution, but not the design. The ideologue of the next world mural, as the crew calls it, remains an unknown.
Wait, do I ever find out who came up?
Case files do not show you finding the author of the design. The crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. This leads to a debate in Precinct 41, which then spreads to the streets of Jamrock, ending in a rare plebiscite organized by you and the rest of Row 3. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villalobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case begins with what appears to be a lot of rambling on the streets as to how juvenile and stupid the mural is, given a choice between 2 options. A staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it. Turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us.
Not to be blamed.
Did anyone ask you what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger? What do you want to tackle next? Or are we done? Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Okay, I think for now that is going to be a good place to wrap up. It has mostly treaded over old ground is also wet, knackered me out. There was some new stuff in there though, and it is obviously what it is. This is where I am now, so we've got to work through that. So thanks for spending time with me. Hope you've had a good day. Hope you have a marvellous time for the rest of the day. I shall speak to you soon. See you again soon. And ciao for now. Bye.